Okay, we're going to do another Illustrator Basics video. If you guys want to watch this, might be fun. You might learn some things. I've got here a tracing I did with the pen tool of our main man, Thundercat. I'm just going to put that right back over his face. Note again that it is filled with green and there is no line. You can flip-flop that like so to change the green from going on the line to the fill. And if I go over here to stroke, it's where you can bump it up and you'll see that line a little bit better. Right, so again, there's stroke and fill. Okay, over here I've got just a box. Right, I can't see it as different from this because it's the same color. So I'm going to change the color and go to my swatches to do that. Swatches are great because they will change your colors consistently instead of being within, you know, your color guide where you're picking from these wild array of colors, especially if you're on like the not that, cancel, get out of here. You know, the really, really wide degree of colors that, whatever. All right, get off the color thing. That's not what we want to do, right? Illustrator can work a little bit differently, similar to how you might do things in PowerPoint. Instead of with layers, you want stuff to be on the same layer so that you can do stuff like this. Go to Arrange and send backward. Right? Now it's behind that thing. And I can select both items. Two different ways to select both items. One is, with my black arrow, I can click and drag. That's not working here because I have another thing here, this picture in the background. Right? If this picture were out of the way, I could simply click and drag. See how it's kind of like, say, what do you want me to select? Oh, that stuff, and select them both. If I didn't want to move this picture, say it's perfectly back where it was, I could either click on this and then shift, click that. Now both items are selected. I can see that I have the vector selected on both of them. Right? A couple things I can do with that. Under Object, I can group them. So now if I select on one, it selects them both all the time. That's totally something you may want to do, especially as you do this project. The other thing I can do, let's ungroup them just for now, is remember the pathfinder. And I don't think, yeah, I have my pathfinder up here. If you don't have pathfinder in your group of palettes or menus or whatever over here all the time, it's under window, they're alphabetical, choose pathfinder, and then you want to pin it over here so that you use it because pathfinder is awesome. And then we want unite or divide. In this case, we want to cut them apart. We want to cut the red one from this one. Okay, in order to deselect, I have to click off of it. I want to cut this out of this one so I get this negative space in the red and a hole. So shift again, select them both, divide them. I can click off of it. If I try to click either one of them now, the pathfinder does group them together. So I have to use that white arrow. Remembering white arrow is for parts of things. I want to select different parts. I can now cut that away, and there's my cutout of the background shape, right? We get rid of all this stuff. Just select and delete. Select and delete. Maybe I'll leave this guy over here just for fun. All right. Somebody was asking before about cutting up a square, right, in different parts of the square. You can do that the same way. I'm going to make a rectangle, and I'm going to make some other rectangles over top of it. And I'm making them larger than the original rectangle so I can see their edges. Unless you want to like go ahead and predetermine, make your colors different. I'm going to select this, get my swatches again, make that one this color, and this one brown, and this one yellow, and this one that color. All right, again, to select multiple, I can either hold shift and click and click and click and click and click and click and click, or I could just click and drag with my black arrow around all of them. Two different ways to select multiple things, right? Again, don't forget that you can group things so that every time you click on them, they click together. Whoop, that's within my group. There you go. Even when stuff is grouped, you can double click any one object, it isolates it, and you can move it around. Then you have to double click off of it, and you still have your group. Yeah, I'm just clicking, and there's still a group. But I can double click this, isolate it, move it back into the group, double click off of it, and I'm back to my group. You'll notice everything else kind of grays out when you do that. All right, so as we're approaching 5 minutes, really quickly, last again, Pathfinder, divide, Then I'll be able to use my white arrow to select all these parts that lie outside of the box, clean it up nice, keep everything in together. So I've got a box formless artwork, right? For those of you that are working with lines, remember that brushes, just like our gradients, some other people were dealing with gradients. If you want any one of these boxes to be filled with a gradient instead of a solid, it's down here. You can choose a gradient. From your swatches as well, you can go to this top right corner and you can add swatches. You can go open swatch library down here. There's all kinds of different earth tones, food colors, corporate colors, celebration colors, skin tones, neutrals, nature, but also gradients. You can choose lots of different kinds of gradients, like, you know, simple radial gradients, spectrums, black and white, stone and brick, foliage. Let's do gems and jewels for fun. Okay, and I could choose that. I don't know what kind of gem that's supposed to be. Sapphire, a chrysoprase. I don't know what that is. Then I can go to my gradient menu over here. That's where I can adjust how the gradient works. You'll see it being adjusted there. I can change any one of the colors by double clicking on it. Say make that one yellow. And I can also change it from linear to radial. The only thing I can't do, what I need my gradient tool for over here, is once I click on that is where I can change, you know, the distance of my radius and where it generates from. Right? So that's still a radial gradient, but it's going to come from the corner like that. See how that's much different? Or from that corner. So using different tools differently is going to take a little while to get used to. Again, you know, that's what practice is for, right? Enjoy your Illustrator experience.